Welcome back to the Manga Club Resort. An absolute pleasure to have your company wherever you are joining us across the world. You can catch us across the globe on www.ecn.cricket or on TV in more than 100 countries. We are building up to the 5th place playoff, on which is day 3, finals day, here at the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Oval. I'm Michael McCann, your lead commentator for this one, as St. Petersburg from Russia plays Dreux from France for the honour to finish 5th before we head towards those 2 semi-finals and the final. We get going in about 9 minutes or so, and alongside me is a man who may well be in that final later on, certainly will be in a semi-final, Corey Rutgers from VOC Rotterdam. Good morning, Corey.
Thank you very much for having me here, and looking forward to the 5th versus 6th playoff. Should be a good game between Dreux of France and St. Petersburg of Russia.
And of course you played Dreux in the pool stages. What did you make of them?
Dreux actually surprised us quite a lot. They came out strong. It was the first game of the tournament. We didn't know what to expect. And they put on about 97, 98, and they batted quite well. And as we saw the other day, they had Nabi, who scored 100, an amazing 100 of 27 or 28 deliveries. So they've got batting depth, and I think it'll be a test for the St. Petersburg Lions, but it should be a good game of cricket.
Yes, Dreux probably come into this game as the favourites, but without disrespecting this game, because it's an important game in its own right. We'll also try and use this opportunity with you as a coach and someone who's part of the way cricket is going, particularly the T10 revolution. You were out there in Dubai for that competition, to get in some questions about all things T10 cricket and tactics. So do get in touch. You can tweet me on @ThisIsMcCann as we battle the wind up here on the scaffolding of the Manga Club Resort. @ThisIsMcCann, MCCANN, and you can @Corey on?
@Corey Rutgers on Twitter as well. Get your questions in. Happy to answer anything on tactics, how the game works, what we think of the tournament, any questions at all. Happy to deliver the best answer we can on the time.
For now though, let's go to the coin toss.
All right, it's the second toss of the day for the playoff of the position 5 and 6. I've got the 2 captains on my left and the match referee, the Dreux captain, Mohammed Bhatti, and Rashid from St. Petersburg. So are you guys ready? Yeah. Okay, so you're going to toss and you will call. Okay, you called heads. It's tail. Yeah. So Mohammed, you win the toss. What did you decide?
I bat first.
You will bat first. And what is the reason behind that?
But yesterday, my team batting is very well, but I decided today also I bat first.
Of course, we can't forget Nabi's performance yesterday, but the conditions have completely changed today. It's really overcast, and if you watch the first game as well, the ball was really, the overcast conditions were really helping the ball. Do you think you would have like to also bowl? Or you just want to depend on what Nabi did?
Yes, I depend. I see my batting lineup, but I decided batting first. I like, and my team decide is today also is batting first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Nabi coming up the order?
Yes, also.
Okay, that was a good guess. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, if I can also have Rashid over. Rashid, the day like today with overcast conditions, not too bad if you get to bowl first.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's my first performance.
Yeah.
I would prefer to win the toss and to take the field first. It's their decision, but I'm happy for this.
And of course, you watched yesterday's performance of Dreux and Nabi in particular. Maybe that is the reason why they want to bat first. Do you have any special preparation for how to tackle Nabi?
Nothing, because I have my special bowlers, but I don't know. But we will see.
Okay.
We will see.
Well, thank you very much. Wish you all the best. So that is the news from the pitch. Dreux has won the toss and elected to bat first.
So the French champions Dreux have won the toss and elected to bat, and given the heroics we saw yesterday with the first 100 in the brand new ECL, it is very understandable that they did. Here's Ahmed Nabi in action.
Now he tries again, swinging across the line. What he's ever played. This is a full toss. It's up.
So Nabi Ahmed with this brilliant 105 off 28 balls with 14 sixes and 5 fours. It was pretty astonishing stuff from him. 104, pardon me. Corey, what did you make of watching that over the breakfast table?
Viewing that, clean hitting, solid striking, solid head position, and yeah, he definitely entertained the crowd here today. Yesterday, sorry. And yeah, look, it's a good batting pitch. This average pass score around here has been about 120 to 130, and they really extended that by hitting 160 odd yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Dreux batting first. I think they'll be looking to go to 140, 150. But Nabby, unbelievable performance, really set the tournament alight, and I'm looking forward to watching him bat, really.
Well, if he gets in again today, then it could be very interesting indeed. The captain, Mohamed Bhatti, has contributed a couple of times in a valuable way. He got 37 not out against VOC Rotterdam in the first match of the tournament. But Dreux ultimately falling short in the pool stages. They were beaten very comfortably by Svanholm, who were also particularly strong side. Probably a bit unlucky, the French champions, in that they've ended up in a pool with VOC and Svanholm, who many, including myself, pre-tournament were tipping as the two strongest teams.
Yeah, look, it's always nice to be labelled as favourites, but in a T10 competition, there's a lot of variables. It takes one batsman to face 20 balls and have a good day. If he makes 50 or 60 off those 20 balls, you're really setting your team alight. So, yeah, maybe a little bit unlucky for Dreux to be, well, pulled in the group of death, as they said when they drew the names back a few months ago. But, yeah, it's been a competitive competition. Dreux have played some good cricket, and we'll have to see what happens.
Some Petersburg Lions have similarly fallen short in the pool stage, which is what has caused them to end up in this 5th place playoff. They lost against all 3 of their games, but because of Jandra Brescia being relegated to 4th, they end up in this match, the 5th place playoff. Look out for Saxena, the opening bowler. He's had a particularly good tournament. Anil Singh came out at the back end of their 3rd pool match and cracked 6s all over the place, but it was a little bit too late. And Vijay Gautam picked up a few wickets yesterday with his twirlers. But it's a flawed team, and a team that haven't quite performed at their best. There's been a few changes of personnel from the side that won the Russian T20 last year. And now they step out on the field looking to do their country proud in their last game of the tournament.
And what great exposure for them as well. It's their last game of the tournament. They're live, on air, over 100 countries streaming, watching around the world. What a great, great opportunity to have one last chance at pulling a win for their country. One person can have good performance, write their name in the books, family and friends watching, and yeah, good luck to them today.
Even more than that though, Corey, because it's actually 100 plus countries, it's on TV, and it's being streamed worldwide, so the world really is watching.
I have to give the ECL credit, they've done an unbelievable job in Manga.
So, we've had a question come in around something that I'm interested in anyway. It's from a club teammate about flexible batting orders, and I think this is a good place for us to start where we want to go with this as we see the teams come out, and the 2 Dreux French opening batsmen will be along in not too far. If you're the VOC Rotterdam boys now, you're coming out to bat, opening the batting, you were telling me the other day you'll have 5 or 6 guys padded up, and it's all about the analytics of their strike rate and not just spin, medium pace and pace, raw pace, off spin and leg spin, the ball turning into and away from the bat, and that's the kind of basis of where cricket's going in terms of decision making.
I think T10's just opened our eyes up that we need to be a little bit more flexible. So for VOC, we go with a set top 3, Scott Edwards, Max O'Dowd, Peter Saylor, and then after that top 3, if we've lost 2 wickets, we do have 5 men padded up, ready to go. Yelter Schoonheim, who is, we do like to refer to him as the lighthouse, unbelievable batsman. He's padded up and he's ready against medium pacer. Piers Fletcher against spin. He's ready if an off spinner's on. I'm personally padded up if there's maybe a quicker bowler getting ready to warm up and have a bowl. So basically, if there's a wicket earlier in the over, after the power play, we'll tap someone on the shoulder and go, Piers, we'd like you to go out. Dirk van Barren would like you to go out. Maybe Yelter Schoonheim would like you to go out. So we're just trying to stay flexible. You don't want to become too rigid in this game. You've only got 60 balls. You need to make it count. And yeah.
Lalit to open the bowling from the Las Lomas end of the ground with number 12 on his back. It is a 6-3 offside field, which is what the St. Petersburg Lions have opted for pretty much the entire tournament. 2 sweepers out, one at square leg and one at deep backward square leg.
See if there's a little bit of swing today with this new ball.
Niaz Hamza at the striker's end and the Centurion Ahmad Nabi at the non-striker's end. Very different conditions though today. Very cloudy, and as we can vouch for up in the commentary box scaffolding, incredibly windy as well. So apologies for any slight bits of disturbance you're hearing on our microphones, but we'll try and bring it to you as best we can. So it's Lalit to Hamza to get the 5th place playoff underway. Away, off the mark.
Yeah, it's a nice little tuck off the legs. Might be leg guys. But a good way to start.
So just to come back to that, so you've got, say, Pierce Fletcher against an offie, yourself if it's quick.
Yelcha Schoonheim if it's a medium pacer.
And this isn't obviously just a VOC strategy. You know, you work as an analyst in teams. You work for Islamabad United in the PSL, and this is where the game's going.
Very lucky, and I also got to work with Paktoon in the T10, and I got to work with the likes of Colin Ingram, Shahid Afridi, Dean Jodens was the head coach at the time, and we talked a lot about flexible batting orders and just making sure we have 4 or 5 players activated, ready to go.
Nice, Lalit gets driven.
Good start, handy in the power play.
Yep.
Yeah, so going back to that, it's very important because it's 60 balls. You don't need people going around the back, getting their pads on. We want to have the options there. We want people to be ready and activated.
But what I'm interested to know is, from a player point of view, is a player who would normally bat 4 prepared to be told today, because of the combination of the bowlers, you're batting at 8, or you're maybe not batting at all, as Centurion from yesterday gets himself going into the gap and off for 4.
Always nice to get off the mark with the boundary. Good question. I think that's where team meetings and communication comes into it. Before we came here to Manga, we had a team meeting. We spoke openly about how we want to go about the tournament. And if everyone buys into it, everyone agrees, then there shouldn't be any shocks to the system. If you get a little tap on the shoulder going, you're going to 5 or 6, that's okay also.
And of course, 1 over in this format is 10% of the innings. So you can't really afford to have a guy not block out an over. I mean, that would be almost sacrilege, but to even have an over that's just singles on a tiny 50-metre ground like this is a big advantage to the bowling side. Lalit gets the big wicket.
There we go.
The Centurion is brought back down to earth.
Here comes St. Petersburg Lions.
Ahmed Nabi is gone, and that is the man that the Russians wanted.
It's a fickle, fickle game, cricket. One day you've been 100, boundaries every ball, next day caught.
Well, Ahmed Nabi has had quite the tournament. First game, direct hit run out, single figure score. Second game, single figure score. Third game, 104 off 28 balls. Arguably the fastest 100 seen in cricket history, and 100 without even needing anything but boundaries. And then today, 4 and out.
Well, T10 cricket, there is no time to get yourself in. You need to throw your hands early. You need to find the boundaries, and one day it can come off, the next day it doesn't. And it's a nice, safe catch at cover. 1 for 5.
Good start for the St. Petersburg Lions. Just what they needed.
It looks like cover's coming a couple of steps closer. If they can pick up 2 or 3 in the power play, just add a little bit of pressure onto that middle order.
Sticking with the 6-3 field. Man gone out at 3rd man. Here comes Lalit, a pumped up Lalit.
Well bowled.
And that is seems to be some confusion. The wicketkeeper, Alexander Vasilev, seemed to think that it was the end of the over, but apparently not. He'd already picked up his helmet and started moving around.
Big ball this, last ball of the power play. Of the first over, sorry.
Quite a look that. Short sleeves for the wicketkeeper, but Dan Weston, our founder of the ECL and the German national wicketkeeper, said he didn't think it looked too bad. Batty inside out. Should get through, does get through.
It's a good first over.
Fielded by Vijay Gautam, yes. Well, it's more than good in this format. So, going back to those tactics, as we see the wicket of Ahmed Nabi gone once more.
He's just squeezed him there. The ball's just come through that mid-riff height. It's not a half volley. It's not there to pull. It's very good bowling, actually. You want to hit on this pitch. It's a little bit tacky in the middle. So if you can hit in the middle of the pitch with that new ball, can skid or it can stop. So it's very, very good bowling.
And it seems like it's slowed up today.
It's definitely slowed up today, especially maybe a little bit of overcast conditions. It's been a used pitch for the last few days, so it is becoming slower and slower.
You also talked about having, as we see St. Petersburg Lions again setting up with a 6-3 field, which is their default for much of this competition. bowling to come from our end of the ground. Aman Saxena, who's had a very good tournament opening the bowling. It's often been the first and second change options for St. Petersburg that have been the problem. You also mentioned 6 small, minuscule rules to get little edges, which it would be great to go through now. Bit of a memory test for you.
Yeah, 6 small. Hopefully I can remember 6. I reckon I've got 4 on the top of my noodle. Yeah, look, there's these little things in T10. We need to take every inch, everything we can get out of it. 60 balls is not much, and we don't want to waste any deliveries as the bowler comes in.
Saxena to Batty. Ooh. Number 1.
Number 1, we talked about at VOC, which was a little bit of a controversial one, was would we retire a batsman if they are struggling? So, hypothetical, Dirk van Baaren goes out to open the batting, and he's just not having a good day. He happens to be 4 off 12 deliveries. We've got quite a good batting depth at VOC Rotterdam, so the question was, would we be comfortable, our captain standing on the sideline, Peter Saylor, and going, Dirkie, sorry, today's not your day, you're going to be retired out, and sending in a new batsman.
Wind whistling around here at the Manga Club Resort. Hamza yet to get off the mark. This is one that I remember a few years ago saying to a few people, we're going to be hearing about match-losing innings soon in short over cricket.
Exactly.
A few people said to me, what on earth are you talking about? And I said, well, if you're looking at batting in a T20 game, you get 25 off 25.
You're setting your team behind straight away.
On that power. And this is a similar argument. And, you know, I hope Dirk van Baaren won't take it personally.
No,
he
of
was
course.
the example. He was the example you picked out. But again, if you've got a guy who, let's say Dirk van Baaren is on against an off-spin,
Yep.
you know that it's a spin-heavy attack and the seamers are out of the attack. Do you withdraw him for a guy who's better suited to that ball?
Yeah.
Shot.
Work to 8. He'll get 4 for that. Hamza off and running.
Yeah, that's a lovely shot. Ball on a length. He's planted his foot straight across the line through the deep mid-wicket boundary. Much needed boundary for Dreux. Nice still base there as he's made contact with the ball.
French champions trying to recover from a slightly slow start.
But yes, you're right also, in a T10 it's all amplified now. We can't waste deliveries.
Yeah.
Standing up to the stumps now. That's a good take from Anil Singh.
Lovely hands.
And Campbell, Netherlands national team coach, he worked with before as an analyst, would be proud of that one from his playing days.
Yeah, I'm sure Cambo wouldn't have fluffed his lines there, although he did miss a couple back in the day. It's good to have him here on board with us as well.
Hamza yet to get his timing going.
Catch it.
Flicked straight up, should be caught, and is dropped. Rajinder Singh.
You can't help but think that maybe the wind today is going to make it very, very swirly conditions. It is blowing very hard across the ground. Although he should have held that.
You would have expected it to be taken, but the game always looks easy from the commentary box. A thick top edge.
I'm not sure I would have felt too comfortable under that one either. It was swirling around very, very much. Went high, high, high.
The bat turned in Hamza's hands, and that's the frustration it brings for the opening bowler who worked hard to create the chance, Aman Saxena, but wasn't actually the best delivery. Oh, and he's caught behind.
Oh, that's a brilliant catch.
That is superb work from Anil Singh.
And what a start in the power play. 2 for 12 off 2.
Wasn't even meant to be in their primary squad. A late replacement here at the ECL, but Anil Singh makes his name with a lovely catch standing up. And the Dreux captain, Mohamed Bhatti, has to walk off. One of their key batsmen at this competition. And now he and the Centurion Ahmed are back in the pavilion early.
And Saxena strikes again. He's having a good little tournament here. And oh, that is a great catch. That's a very heavy deflection. Up to the stumps, a little bit of outswing, thick outside edge. And that's a brilliant pluck.
It only gets better as you see it on the replay once more. Anil Singh might have the short sleeve shirt that some wouldn't necessarily be pleased with as a wicketkeeper. You do see accounts like the Great Cricketer sharing such things normally as being quite village, but he's certainly not being village with his glove work.
No, 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 that's very, very clean work. And now this is a really, really big over in the match. They've had a brilliant start to the power play here, St. Petersburg Lions. If they can keep this under 10 or 12 and keep the Dreux boys under 24 in the power play, they're setting themselves up for a very good start to this match. As looks like spin's coming into the attack.
And it's the teenager who has stepped out into the middle. No Cameron, but he is at the non-striker's end. Bowling come from the Las Lomas end.
Yeah!
Worked away to leg.
Nice start that. It's refreshing to see a spinner in the power play. I think there's been a few teams that have been a little bit scared by the short boundaries, but it's good to see a spinner. Very effective in the power play.
Yes, it's been quite rare. Vijay Gautam on to bowl. He's had a pretty good tournament for the St. Petersburg Lions.
Yeah!
This time again, it's just a single. And you do often see this in T20 leagues across the world. Try and sneak in an over of part-time spin at the top. The old run for it as quickly as possible and hope the batsman's still settling down and blink and 1 over's gone by. But instead, it's the 3rd over.
Yeah! Easy one,
Single by Hamza, who's been quite conservative, as has Cameron, and this is what 2 early wickets does. They might have wanted to attack Vijay Gautam, but having lost your 2 best batsmen, you'd be foolish to, one would think.
I think something's brewing here. We've got 3 balls left of the power play. We've got 1-1-1 to start this over. Would not surprise me if see him come down the wicket, or maybe even a sweep shot here.
Cameron facing.
Yeah!
Ooh.
Content for the
Well
dot.
bowled.
I'd be interested to know the metrics of the percentage possibility of a wicket, of how much it increases with each ball without a boundary, because I would imagine it's exponential. I know I saw something about if you have 4 dot balls in a row.
There's the big shot.
Tries the big shot, doesn't get hold of it.
He scuffed his lines. It's another good over from St. Petersburg.
And I know this is slightly in the longer form of the game, but I remember seeing something in relation to 40 over, 50 over cricket, where if there's something like 5 or 6 dot balls in a row, the percentage chance of a wicket exponentially increases. In this shorter format, it only takes maybe 3 or 4 balls to build that pressure that is on Dreux now. Mistimed.
Another dot ball. End the power play. Brilliant bowling, really.
That is lovely work from Vijay Gautam. He's conceded just 4 from the over. That is sensational.
Well, this is why I think teams need to maybe go back to that spinner in the power play ploy. I think when everyone rocked up here and we did see the short boundaries, it had put teams off. We actually spoke in our team meetings that we thought every team will start with a spinner, and then we've been surprised to note that there's always been paces or medium paces.
So this is what we've seen so far. Ahmed Nabi and Mohamed Bati both removed by the excellent opening bowling duo of Lalit and Saxena. They've been one of the strengths of this St. Petersburg side, and in truth, if with the bat in particular they'd have been as strong as Lalit and Saxena and Gautam have often been with the ball, then there's every chance they would have made more of a push for the semi-finals. We've got a tweet in from Paul Bateman, said, what language is used in the middle the most, English, Hindi or the national language of the team? The short answer, having had the stump mics on all week, is a mixture of absolutely everything. Cricket, a truly worldwide game that has brought everyone together here at the ECL, is a quick single and almost too quick a single.
And 1 for an overthrow.
Saxena didn't slip, pardon me, if Saxena didn't slip, that was trouble at the mill. And eventually it just about worked out okay. Do remember that you can get your tweets in, and we'll do our best to get through them and read them out. It is a case of in the notifications flicking through and trying to find the tweets in and amongst the Pavel Florin mania that has gripped the world.
The cult hero from Romania. Good on him. Bowled beautifully this morning as well.
Yep, absolutely. And he nearly had a wicket.
Should have had a wicket, unfortunately.
Dropped on the mid-wicket boundary. You just can't get the staff,
No.
eh? Bowling from the Las Casias end of the ground, our end.
Catch it.
Straight up, but over the fence. Nobody's catching that unless they're in the crowd.
Thought that might have held up in the breeze, but he's got more of it than I thought. It's a nice shot, back of length outside off. He's sat back in the crease and he's put that over mid-on.
So the breeze in this over, he says, as the breeze very timely nearly blows us off our feet up in the scaffolding, is going from left to right as the batsman looks at it, right to left as the bowler looks at it. Cameron facing.
Yeah, that's the delivery.
And it's stopped by Radzinda, who will be pleased to have stopped it. I'm sure he'll be a bit nervous after that drop catch earlier on that swirled up in the wind.
So you ready for our second rule, Michael?
Yes, let's crack on through these 6 rules for T10 marginal gains.
We're ready for number 2. So the VSC boys in our team meeting also talked about that. Oh, we'll watch this delivery first.
Yeah!
Missed by Cameron, more smart work by Enelson.
Yeah, so the VSC boys, we talked about in the team meeting also that if there is a wide down the leg side and the keeper happens to dive down, takes it with both mitts but he's on the ground rolling, we're hoping that we're backing up enough that we're actually going to run there. We want to squeeze every run we can. So that would be in 2 wides and someone else is on strike. Keep the fielders guessing. It's just the second rule for the VOC boys this tournament.
So rule of thumb is if it's a wide, you don't even need to call, you run. Cameron, full toss, misses out, low full toss.
Yeah, you need that keeper probably to dive or roll. But yeah, we're backing our guys pretty quick over 22 yards. And hoping that we can just get that extra run to add to the total.
Memory test for you to see if you can remember all 6 across this innings.
Testing me, Michael.
We're on to 2. Swing and a miss. More smart work from Anil Singh, and that's causing awkwardness for these French batsmen because they're pinned to their crease. They can't get down and attack the length as one might do.
Very impressed with the keeper here. His hands have been lovely today. There again.
Anil Singh having a good time of it. Really good time of it.
Yeah, look, good start to this game. There's a little bit in this pitch today. Dreux, 6 and over. I feel par's 120.
Shane Edwards. Hi Corey, best sledge against you, and what have you given? Go.
Jeez.
Something, keep it clean.
Keep it clean. Shane
if it's possible.
Of course Shane Edwards is asking that. Oh, you're going to have to give me a ball or 2. Good question.
New over starting from the Cassius end. And from the very first ball, a maximum.
Yeah, very nice shot that. He's cleared his front leg, wide of off stump, and he's hooked that across the line. Important 6, and when you start an over like this, Mike, when you hit a 6 off the first rock, we teach people not now to nurdle a 1. Go again, go again, go again. As we see the replay there, he's cleared the boundary quite comfortably. So you'd expect the Dreux batsman, Hamza. I'd like to see him here look to score another boundary. I don't want to see a nurdled 1. I'd really like to see them get that 20 run over.
And that's another bit of evidence about how the game has changed. Because there was once this perceived wisdom, hit a boundary, push the sweeper back, take the single, get up the other end.
Yeah.
Hamza does take the single, but he has to because it was a good piece of bowling. A nice response from Vijay Gautam. This kicked up off the pitch, and anyone playing later, including Corey Rutgers to my left from VOC Rotterdam, will be eager to catch a replay of it, but spin is so quick in a T10. We're on to the next ball. Straight up. It will need some catching, but there's no one there to catch it. Haven't actually got a man down there, and it's eventually fielded by Dinesh Lalwani.
Yeah, look, pitch looks like it's turning quite a bit today. It's good to see. It has been a worn, torn pitch now, as you can see in the middle, all the scuff marks.
Gautam once more. It's miscued and taken.
It's a nice smart catch that, running around to his right.
Rinku Singh with the grab, and Dreux, just as they were starting to get a partnership going, lose another one.
Yeah, look, losing wickets at the worst time possible, unfortunately. Every time they've found a boundary, they've lost a wicket in the 1 or 2 next balls. So, yeah, they really need to build a partnership here, because like I said before, I feel what par is around that 120 mark. Well, that's what we've seen in the tournament so far. Maybe the pitch is doing a little bit more today. If you have a look at the replay, he's thrown hands there. He's thrown hands very hard, but a smart catch. Awkward height, those catches sometimes. He's taking it cleanly. The blue specs on. I like that on an overcast day. Why not?
It's a strong look.
It is a very, very strong look.
It does remind me, as an early cricketing memory, of the 2005 Ashes and the day, I'm trying to remember which test it was. I'm sure someone can tweet in and wrap me out for not being able to pull it up, but when the English were off a bad luck, I believe it was the 4th day at the Oval where the English were trying to take the time, and the Aussies brilliantly came out in sunglasses, as if to say, what's the problem?
Nothing wrong with a bit of Aussie humour.
33 for 3. Wide first up for Omar, who gets a chance to have a look at the bowling. And of course it was Shane Warne of all people who was behind that. And if you were following Twitter and the ECL yesterday, it was a certain Shane Warne who was tweeting about the ECL.
Yeah, brilliant that. Good to have him on board.
Gautam. Fast work again from the twirler. got hit for a 6 from the first ball of this over, but he's responded and reacted really, really well. So for those unfamiliar, Shane Warne was picking up a quote tweet from Dimitri Mascarenhas, his old teammate at Hampshire back in the day. As Amar again doesn't get hold of it. And he said, he didn't just say that he was 100% behind Pavel Florin. What Shane Warne explicitly said is, I love to help out, I love to get involved, and I'm here next year. So, Shane, if you are watching, it'd be a pleasure to have you up here in the commentary box next year.
What a great promotion for the ECL as well, having Shane Warne, the king of spin, 800 wickets, saying, I would love to join the ECL.
It wasn't just Shane Warne, you had Dimi Mascarenhas, there was Sheldon Cottrell as well, because someone tweeted to Sheldon Cottrell saying, can you teach Pavel Florin the salute celebration, the one that the West Indian pace bowler was using throughout the World Cup that's just gone on in England.
What a great day for the competition yesterday. It was trending all over social media, Twitter, Instagram, and even myself. I got a lot of messages from people back home saying we've heard about this competition now, and I'm sure there's a lot of people tuning in on Fox Sports in Australia, which is great. And yeah, it's really, really exciting time here on the Manga.
Rinku Singh to come in here at the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Oval. Wayward though. Start to the bowling from this end. And just coming back to the Pavel Florin situation, what was nice to see and a bit heartwarming was the initial cynicism and criticism from certain parts of the internet, but then how once the story was quite rightly from the ECL's point of view and by commentators such as yourself told about recovering from a broken leg and being the first Romanian to play in this tournament, as Radsinder Singh does well with the fielding there. You know, a guy who hadn't played cricket 6 years or so ago, now president of a club. The way now, you look over Twitter and the guy's an absolute star, and so he should be, because it's very ironic that certain, I'm not going to name names, but certain people, certain accounts were critical of him, and you think, well, don't you want the game to grow? You know, you've got a Romanian-born guy from Cluj who now loves cricket. It's remarkable, and that's also remarkable. Niaz Hamza cracks it away, and Dreux get a much-needed maximum.
Hamza's looking good here. That's a lovely shot. That was actually quite wide of off stump, and he's hoiked that across the line. An important 6. But yeah, going back to that, Mike, you're absolutely right. What a story. What a story. Yesterday morning, yeah, there was a little bit of criticism. I think there was a bit of miscommunication. I think this was professional cricket, but this is club cricket. People promoting their sport from their home country.
Absolutely, as I've also just been told by our stats boffins that we are up to 175 sixes for the tournament.
175?
So one would expect that we get to 200 today.
I would love to crack the 200 mark.
Well, you did your best. 3 and 3 at the back end of VOC versus Svanholm match last night, which was, and I'm happy to admit I'm biased because it was a pleasure to be on the call for it, but arguably the game of the pool stages. Amar still struggling with his timing out here, still yet to get off and running. Just coming back to that game, Svanholm falling 7 runs short in the run chase. How much fun was that to play?
As we got off the field, we gave the Danish boys a big shake of the hand and we said, brilliant, brilliant game of T10 cricket. What an advertisement for the sport.
Rinku Singh continues the pressure, and a poor knock from Amar comes to an end. It just never got going for him.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that. That was short and wide. It was there to hit it over backward point, but he's actually hit it just in front. It's another smart catch by the St. Petersburg boys. They've fielded pretty cleanly today.
And they're trying to restrict Dreux to a manageable chase, and by dismissing the key men of Bhatti and Ahmed Nabi early on and then chipping away, is keeping this game very much alive from their point of view. Dreux the favourites, but struggling a little.
Yeah, they are struggling a little. If we have a look at the replay here. Short, wide. Yeah, unfortunate a little bit maybe to pick the man out, but it is a smart catch. They have fielded well today. They need a partnership here, Dreux. They just need someone, if they can have one man bat through, 110, 120.
And as the new batter walks out, I've got to press you for an answer, as they say on those TV game shows or on Countdown when they're running out of time. Shane Edwards about the sledge.
Shane Edwards from Wickham, Australia. I know who you are, Shane. I'd say the best sledge I've given, it was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but I might have brought up maybe a family member or two that I shouldn't have. I apologise to that sir about that. That was many moons ago. And the best one I've received, maybe I was a little bit overweight back in the day, a couple of chocolate bars percent or something like that.
I've got one for you in a second as Hamza faces up, crossed during the catch being taken. Sam Billings, I interviewed him a few years back He said that when he was a proper nipper, first got on the county circuit, James Kirtley, the experienced old seamer, turned to Billings when he just come out, one of his, I think it was his county debut, and said, "You're a dreamer, give up now." And then he said it, and he stared at him down the wicket for about 5-6 seconds, motionless, didn't move.
Yeah.
And Sam Billings was there thinking, "Are you going to say anything else?" And then he turned around, walked back to his mark, and he got so in his head that he got him out in the next over. Because he was still thinking about what on earth had just gone on.
Yeah, it is part of the game, sledging, and coming from Australia, rural Australia as well, from Karratha. Look, we do have a bit of tongue-in-cheek, so nothing wrong with that as long as you keep the etiquette.
Absolutely, and it can create such theatre and drama when that gets going in the right way, and there's that mutual respect kept with it. It can just be brilliant. That's what the game's about, that battle between bat and ball, as Akashdeep Singh is on to bowl his right arm wobbly mediums.
Nice shot that. He's just whipped that off his legs there. Straight, a little too straight. Fine leg in the ring. 4 runs.
Wahid Abdul has been excellent with the ball in this tournament. Knocked over 3 poles yesterday for Dreux in their final pool match as they got victory against Cluj. And now he's looking to do it with the bat. Can be a capable hitter down the order, Wahid Abdul, a strike rate of 172 last year. And Abdul goes again and goes very nicely indeed. Might only get 1 though, they want 2. Anil Singh whips them off. And he's Abdul short.
It's good running that, I think.
All eyes on the ump. And we're going upstairs. Mohamed Adnan sending it up for a replay look.
My only worry here is that he's lost his bat. Maybe he's jackknifed himself. It's what we call when you're running and you're sliding your bat and the bat gets plugged into the grass and you actually drop it. So it'll be interesting to see the replay here, but I think he's made it home.
We didn't really have the best view because we're not side on, but this is the best view. Remember, the line belongs to the keeper. I think he's all okay based on that.
I'll tell you what. He's home. It's a bit messy, but he's home.
Well, he's literally diving in. He's Jürgen Klinsmann style, for those who know their football as opposed to their cricket watching in Europe. The German striker used to famously celebrate with his slide across the floor.
But yeah, going back to the last night's game, really, really enjoyable. 133 played 126. Boundaries, good catches, even good bowling. It sounds high scoring, but people hitting Yorkers under pressure was brilliant to see. And yeah, credit to the Danish boys, they really pushed us, and I think we're looking forward to if we can get to the final, coming up against them again, because yeah, we'd like to go 2 from 2.
Yeah.
This time, Abdul doesn't get hold of it. These Svanholm versus Catalunya, they are without doubt the favourites for that game, Svanholm.
Yeah,
before that, it's your boys VOC Rotterdam against. Easy for me to say. Yeah, it's VOC Rotterdam against SG Findorf from Germany.
Yeah.
Dylan been up in the commentary box for that. Well, you've got me second guessing as to whether I've got that around. I think I have.
Yeah, sorry, I think it's us VOC versus Catalunya.
Pardon me, I've just had what is affectionately known as an absolute shocker. It is you versus the second place team. Of course, JJ Pressure slightly causing havoc by being top of the table and dropping down to 4th.
Has confused a few of us.
That's my excuse anyway. Wide from Singh. Have a look at tweets coming in. Julie Rutgers, since might be familiar to you.
Hello, mother.
Who taught you everything you know?
Oh, jeez, loaded question that.
I sense it might be. Abdul on strike. Goes straight down the ground. Has he got enough of it? No. Lovely catch from Ratinder Singh. He's dropped that skyer that was held up in the wind, and look at what it means to him. I think he's more relieved than he is happy, but he's taken it. And he's got the biggest of smiles on his face, like the kid who's seen his birthday cake.
It's great to see a smile like that. He's made some good ground from deep mid-off there, taking a steady catch. And once again, St. Petersburg keep taking wickets at the right time. Wahid Abdul out for 8 off 5. And yeah, look, going back to that Twitter question, it is a loaded question. And he's always fishing for compliments, old mother, but I do have to say, Jules taught me everything.
Taken by Ratinder Singh. Coming back to those 6 rules for T10, so we got to 2.
All right, we need
for number 3.
We'll get 2 quickly because I'm running out of overs here. Another one was running in straight lines down the wicket, not on the middle of the pitch, but we didn't want people running around on the grass. We wanted people straight lines because you're actually cutting off meters if we're turning for 2s. And another quick one that we spoke about was our super over setup.
We'll come to that. Hamza on strike because the batsmen have crossed, which is another thing I'm interested to ask you about. Do you think that when the batsmen cross... now I think the umpire, Lars Anderson, has said that the batsman did not cross. So it will not be Niaz Hamza facing after all. Mohammad Shazeb will face his first ball. Singh.
Wowee.
This pitch is doing all sorts.
Well, it looks like the boys are actually rolling their fingers across the ball, and on a length there, that is taking off.
It's sort of shooting up, tennis ball bounce style, trampoline style almost, pinging off.
Well, it might be one of those days where, we have seen a bit of high scoring lately, but maybe 100's enough, because I'm not hitting that, no one's hitting that. That's really, really good bowling.
I've had Jim Congdon asking about potential Pavel Florin European Cricket League shirts being sold online. I'm sure there's every chance that might be coming to you soon.
He needs his own talk show.
Niaz Hamza with 22 off 14, the key man for Dreux here. They need Hamza to go big, and that is just inside the tram lines from Rinku Singh. So to come back to super over setup.
Super over setup, so we're taught, I don't want to give you all our secrets away, but we're probably going to have two men standing basically on either side of the stumps if it's a super over or it's in that last ball and they need 1 or 2 to win.
Singh continuing, might have his second wicket here, should have his second wicket, does have his second wicket. Rinku Singh continuing a brilliant spell that means the pressure on Dreux is incessant.
Once again, brilliant bowling. He's hit the middle of the pitch. We know it's a bit tacky.
And it's Niaz Hamza as well. The key bat, the set batsman once more. 22 off 15 was going so well. And now he has to depart.
Yeah, look, big wicket. Like we keep saying throughout this whole inning, St. Petersburg Lions from Russia. Keep taking wickets at the right time. If we look, he's got that into an awkward zone where it's not too easy to strike. Another safe catch.
Taken by number 12, Lalit. The opening bowler contributing in the field. I've already had one drop today. Generally, it's actually probably been the St. Petersburg Lions' most consistent bowling and fielding performance in the entire competition. Can see the third. Hoiked leg side. One thing that's fascinated me about the St. Petersburg Lions compared to everyone else in the competition is they've stuck with a 6-3 field rather than a 5-4, which to me seems quite unforgiving.
Look, it's not something I would usually run as a captain or a coach, but I mean, you have to trust your bowlers, backing your bowlers. It probably needs to be a bit wider of a line if you're going to run a 6-3 field in a T10.
Yeah.
It's bowling well to that field though, and it means that you can only scamper through for a single. Two entirely new batsmen. A bit of confusion at the stumps, which goes back to what you were talking about. So in a super over,
so if it's
you would have two fielders.
We're going to probably station, if the opposition team needs 2 off 1, 1 off 1, whatever it is, going to have 2 fielders either side of the wicket. If the ball gets hit in the offside, he'll then throw it to the guy at the bails who will come from the leg side. If it's on the leg side, it'll come to the guy at the bails on the offside.
Shazeb facing, trying to get going. Enough hit, picks the sweeper out. And that's as simple as the fact that it doesn't concern you then that you're missing 2 less outfielders that might hit a boundary and win the game. Is it just an occupational risk?
It's quite funny that when it comes down to those last sort of balls and someone's trying to look for that one to go for mark, they usually skew the ball straight somewhere. So we're hoping they maybe even stop it as well. Look, it's a little bit of a gamble, but yeah, we think we've worked something out.
Very wide open stance. This is straight, probably 6, just enough on it. 2 fielders converging. But Nawaz has given Dreux a late lift, and that is exactly what they need. Rab Nawaz has got big open levers when he gets it right, and he's demonstrated it there.
So 2 overs to go here, Michael. What are you thinking that the Dreux boys are going to need to be competitive?
Well, they're on 61 for 6. We've established the pitch is doing a little bit more, and what's more, the conditions and the swing and the wind is a bit awkward. So we've seen that pass score at about 120. You seem to think maybe cut 20 off it?
Well, from looking up here, it's actually beautiful to have a bird's eye view, but yeah, I think I'm going to have to shave maybe 10 to 15 runs. Maybe 105 might be a good score today. It does seem to be doing a lot more. The medium pacers rolling their fingers across the ball seem to be sticking in the pitch. So it's a big last 2 overs coming up here for Dreux. They're going to have to find a couple of boundaries, as we have 3 men deep on the leg side, deep square, deep cow and deep mid on, and they're not bringing cover over. So yeah, this is a more traditional field. This is the field we've been running with VOC most of the tournament as well.
As that is dug out for a single. They've reverted to that, thinking of 2. Yes, no, wait, sorry, just about avoided.
Yes, just avoided that. So this is the sort of field where I feel if batsmen can get a little bit funky, and look, I got a little bit lucky yesterday with a couple of ramps, but with short third and 45 in place here, I'd like to see the batsman get a bit of advantage. He's bowling good, full at the stumps, maybe a little ramp here for 4 or 6.
Rabnawaz facing. It's a single. Ganesh Lalwani with the fielding belatedly. We did see him almost that exact spot yesterday there. Shah, the spun home captain, misfielding, but then brilliantly committing a run out, a crucial run out of Max O'Dowd, which was another big moment in that roller coaster of a game.
Topsy-turvy game, and Maxwell O'Dowd's been in sensational form for us, so we're quite nervous when he got run out yesterday.
Shazeb needs a boundary, gets a boundary, goes big, straight into his team's tent in the marquee. Lovely shot. One hopes he hasn't injured one of his teammates in the process.
He's just making sure they're paying attention and still awake, I think. He's absolutely murdered that. That's a great shot.
Well, they desperately needed something, and he's given them it there. Oh, goodness gracious me, he really couldn't have picked them out much better, could he? What can Lalit do at the death in reply?
Yeah.
Good Yorker.
Well bowled again. He's really getting it full, giving the batsman not too many options. And this is why I go back to, if a batsman has a ramp here, you know he's bowling full, you know he's bowling Yorkers, sorry. If you can get that bat under it, it's only short boundaries here, you can actually get 6s from your ramps. So we'll have to see what happens.
Nawaz facing Lalit. Missed on the ramp. Well, he went for the shot you wanted him to go for, and you showed him how to play it last night against Svanholm.
Well, I'm glad he's listening to me. But no, that is really a smart option. Like I keep saying, you got the 2 men in the ring behind you. If he gets any bat on that, that's 4 runs.
And if he connects with it fully, it's 6.
It's a hell of a job keeping.
Anil Singh, for me, has actually been the star of this innings. Behind the stumps. Even with those short sleeve shirts. That
bring back the short sleeve, I say.
Dan Weston didn't mind it. He knows a bit more about keeping than I do. Mars misses and Singh demolishes the stumps. That is the kind of thing you might see on the Grey Cricketer Twitter account. You know, why just knock off a bail when you can just bang?
Tell you what,
get rid of the
big fan of this. He's just another good take. He's come back in just a tad off the pin. He's gone banging off. I'll just go the other end up. Please clean those up for me.
Yep.
Yeah, big fan.
Clean them up, walk off. Someone else's problem to sort out.
Did we get any more questions come through for the last over?
Nothing in particular, but it'd be good to run through the 6. Sana Hussain, by the way, says that she's watching from Doha, Qatar.
Hello, Doha.
Which is really does show that this is a truly international project. We've got more than 100 countries watching on TV and across all of the world on ECN.cricket. Let's try and get through these 6 rules as Akashdeep Singh starts the final over. I think that was just on the edge of the trams. Anil Singh with a keeping. Couldn't get it down in time. So we got up to rule number 4, the super over setup.
Yep, you're testing me here. Okay, number 5, we talked in the power play in the inner ring. If the ball gets hit to cover point mid-off, we're not even throwing it into the keeper. We're not taking shies at the non-strikers' ends. We don't want the extra runs. We don't want deflections. Rule number 5.
Nawaz gets hold of this, but it's gone up. Anil Singh running a long way round to get there.
It's been called a dead ball. It's been called a dead ball because the bowler has broken the bowler stumps, which I believe should be called a no ball.
Yes, well, it's the Steve Finn rule, isn't it? As one affectionately knows it, because it was the England fast bowler Stephen Finn who consistently struggled with this.
Interesting that, because...
And I agree with you. I thought that the rule had been changed so that it was called a no ball if this happens rather than just a dead ball. But dead ball was the call out in the middle.
That's interesting. Could cost France a few runs, that. Is it?
Well, the French champions might well feel like they should have a free hit right now. But as we all know from the 6 and 5 controversy of England-New Zealand, it's hard to dig out in the law book. Nawaz, swing miss. But I feel relatively confident in saying it was changed. There's a stumping appeal here, but it seemed like the back foot was very well planted. So no shying in the power play.
No shying in the power play. Everyone's in the ring. A little deflection goes for 4 runs. That 4 runs could hurt you a little bit later in the match.
And Nawaz pulls something out the bag. Inside out, over cover, lovely stuff. Trying to give the French champions something to defend. And Rab Nawaz finds his very best.
I'm a big fan of this shot. He's cleared the front juke, thrown hands, and that's gone about 70 metres over cover. Put it up in the wind and it's just kept going. Good batting. Can they get a couple more in the last 4 deliveries?
4 balls left. Could get the best part of 100 still. Goes again. And won't get there. Should plug for 2.
Fielding.
So, 1 rule left. Can you remember it?
1 rule left. It just came back to me. So on the last ball innings, if you're batting first, you hit it to deep cover, ball gets thrown to the keeper. A little bit of indoor cricket style here. Hold your crease, make the non-strike keep going, and make them throw once more. You're running till you run out. None of this, just 1. Keep going.
Yep. Well, you'd think that would be basic common logic.
Yes.
Well, I think in T20s, T50s, one dayers, people are still protecting their average and don't want to get run out on that last one. They don't just sacrifice themselves.
I was just about to say, is there a little bit of the way cricket analytics and stats needs to move forward as this time, a grunt of frustration. Feels like he missed out. There was a bit of width on it. So, just to surmise, I'm trying to recall numbers 2 and 3. I've got the rest written down. Flexible batting order.
Yep. Number 1. Number 2. Number 4, super over. We'll skip 2 and 3 quickly. Power play, no shying at stumps. Last ball, running no matter what.
He's got hold of that one better into the gap. They're thinking of 2. Could well be a run out at the keeper's end. He's really struggling here. Shazeb, furniture demolished. And Anil Singh once again is having a great day at the office. Smart work from the St. Petersburg Lions to finish it off. It's been a good innings from the Russian champions. They've restricted Dreux to a very achievable chase of 83 to win.
Yeah, good fielding there. Slide, stop, throw. Up quickly, straight over something. And the keeper's had an absolute blind at these 10 overs. Just chucks the ball away, confident as all hell.
And that is the man we're focusing on, Anil Singh, having a very good day of it. And there can't be much better a feeling for a keeper. That last ball, collect it, destroy the stumps, and walk off. So to come back to those 6 rules,
yeah,
super over 2 men at the death when it's 2 to win off the last ball, both by the stumps at the bowler's end.
Yeah, so that we can take the throw. If it's from the leg side, it will go to the guy at the offside, and it goes to the offside, go to the guy at the leg side. I do remember 2 and 3. 2, if it's a wide down the leg side and the keeper tumbles to take the ball, we're running. We want
automatically.
That.
And the other one is retiring a batsman.
Retiring a batsman, that's the big one. It was a little bit controversial in the team to bring that up. I think we ended up saying we're not going to do that because people want the airtime. But yeah, so they're the 6 rules we talked about in the team meeting. We've used them and hopefully we can take that through to the final with us tonight.
But it's fascinating to see that that's where the game's going. As we look at the card, Niaz Hamza with a contribution at the top, but in general, Dreux struggling with the bat. Shazeb and Rab Nawaz in particular with some late blows to get them up to 82 for 7. But that idea of retiring a batsman, much like the concept of a match-losing innings a few years ago, would have been seen as fanciful and ridiculous and it will never happen. Now, it's being discussed in team meetings. You know, it's progressing into people's thoughts. There's a similar story for St. Petersburg throughout this tournament in terms of Lalit and Saxena, the opening bowlers being excellent. But Rinku Singh came to the party today with 2 for 18, and it was all round a very impressive bit of bowling as we have a look back at the first innings highlights.
Here we go, having a look at the highlights early doors. Nice little tuck to start the innings for Dreux. But this was the big moment. The Centurion gone early. Really, really big moment. Funny old tournament, a couple of low scores, 1 big score, but that's T10 cricket.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with the St. Petersburg lengths today.
And they kept picking up wickets regularly. There wasn't a partnership of note. Radsinder Singh with the drop there, but there was a lovely recovery to that story later on, which we're going to see. swirling in the wind and rain, because there has actually been a little bit of rain, which seems sensational for this place in late July. And he'll sing the star of the show as well.
Catch of the day for me. This was unbelievable. That's a very, very thick edge. He's kept his composure, kept his shape, and it's gone straight into the mitts. Another strong shot off the back foot, but you can see St. Petersburg bowling good lengths on this wicket.
Was the odd 6 from Dreux, but generally the pressure was consistently on, and we see once again a couple of 6s and then a wicket. A partnership struggling to be established.
The big blue sunnies there, great catch.
Strong cricketing aesthetic. Dreux continuing to progress through the innings, struggling to establish partnerships, and we will shortly see a brilliant recovery. A certain Radhinder Singh, who dropped that catch earlier in the innings, took one, and goodness me, didn't it mean a lot to him. We'll get to it in a second. The smile on his face, here it is.
My man.
He was absolutely chuffed after
It's
that.
never easy after you drop a catch, but he's taken that.
And after that, the problems continued to come for Dreux, who just couldn't really get going. The batting conditions and the pitch is a bit tacky and slow, make it more difficult today.
Yeah, a very tricky pitch. This is my favourite shot also. Over cover for 6. Another hoik for 6 into the crowd.
That was into the players' tent, trying to keep his teammates alert and making sure they're watching the game. Dreux worked their way up towards a defendable score, but a score that seems nothing more than still slightly below par. It ended almost a metaphor for the whole innings with a lovely piece of keeping from Anil Singh. Good work out on the boundary, and that means that the target is 83 runs to win after 82 has been put on the board. Slightly under par, Corey?
Slightly under par, but hey, we have seen some tackiness in this pitch today. We've seen the slow medium bowlers be able to get the ball to move quite a lot. Who knows, if you have a good power play, if friends can come out and bowl quite well, keep them under maybe 24 in the power play, I think they might be able to squeeze St. Petersburg still.
And shortly, it will be VOC Rotterdam against Catalunya Cricket Club, the winners of Pool A versus the runners-up of Pool B, and then later on it will be the winners of Pool B, SG Findorf from Germany against the runners-up from Pool A, which was Svanholm. Just give us a word on that game against Catalunya. What have you seen of them? Are they something of an unknown quantity? Now you've got 3 games of their footage to watch. Have you had a little look at them?
We got to watch them put on 119 against the Italians a couple of days ago. So there is, and their top order looks quite strong. They've got a couple of left-arm seamers that take the ball across us. So look, they've done well. They've made the finals. It'll be a good game. Don't take anything for granted. Hopefully we win and can have the final a little bit later today.
And with no disrespect meant in that other semi-final to SG Findorf, do you sense, based on what you've seen of those 2 teams, that it could well end up that last night's thrilling game to finish day 2 ends up being an unofficial rehearsal of the final?
I think it might be an unofficial rehearsal, but like we say, it's T10 cricket. I'm sure the German team do feel that they'll be able to get up as well. We'll see, fingers crossed, whatever happens, happens, and yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Corey. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you up here. In the meantime, if you've got any tweets in mid-innings that you want to get in touch with about for us to pass on to Corey, or ask Ryan Campbell when he's back in the box for the run chase, do get in touch on @ThisIsMcCann. This is McCann, MCCANN, as the furniture up here on the scaffolding continues to get blown around. It's a miracle we haven't ended up falling off it during this first innings. Thank you very much for your time, Corey.
Cheers, mate. I hope my hair's okay. It has been blowy.
Good to have you up here. And when we come back, it will be the run chase in what is the 5th placed playoff. Dreux, the French champions, putting 82 up. The St. Petersburg Lions wanted 83. We'll be back very shortly with the second innings.
Well, I'd have to handle it as a full. South Africans are great divers. Yeah, write it down. Write it down. How you enjoying it? I did it in the military. Yeah. Preservation. How have you enjoyed it? Oh, it's been great. Yeah. There's been some good cricket, hasn't there? Big hits. Well, probably the best professional cricket that you've seen. You need to get around. Non-professional. now, after this game, this is the semi-final. So this is Catalonia. Catalonia played. Yes, today. We played 7th and 8th. 7th and 8th done. 5th and 6th done. How many games? What have we only done one? This is our 6th game. This should be the 3rd. No, this is the 2nd game. Started at 11. Oh, sorry, Catalonia just tossed. I thought they were. Yeah. Yeah, 2nd. Yeah, Catalonia. So this is like a break. No, this is to decide. The end of this one will decide who finishes 5th and 6th. Yeah, sorry. Then a semi. Yeah, then the semi is Catalonia finished 2nd. Rotterdam finished on top. Catalonia plays Rotterdam. The winner of that goes into the final. The second one is... Why second? Why? Oh, that's traditional. You just go... Because we've had 2 groups. Okay. Right? So, in fact, it's probably, if you look at overall, it's probably 1st place 4th, or 2nd place 3rd. But what we had is 2 groups, so we cross over 1st place 2nd, 1st place 2nd, the 2 winners play in the final. And it's likely. The 2 who played the last game. But I think it's going to be a really close game. 2 big teams. When they first walked in, I thought they were coming on the plane. They just came to the market. But even Nugent from Glen Hull, I mean,
confirmarlo por intercom, pero se puede quitar la funda. Confirmarlo por la intercom, pero se puede quitar la funda. Confirmarlo por la intercom, primero, pero se puede quitar la funda. Pregunta él si quiere.
Welcome back to the Manga Club Resort, the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Oval to be precise. We're getting ready for the second innings, the run chase of the 5th place playoff between Dreux from France and St. Petersburg Lions from Russia. I'm Michael McCann. Pleasure to have your company once more, and we've had enough of Corey Rutgers up alongside us for the first innings. His Netherlands head coach, the man who has used him before extensively as an analyst, has come up to the scaffolding and dismissed him from the commentary gantry. Ryan Campbell is with us. Ryan, good to have you back for the run chase. What did you make of the first innings? The St. Petersburg keeper, Anil Singh, the star of the show.
Yeah, good morning everyone, or good evening, wherever you're watching around the world. Welcome to a wind-swept ground here at La Manga. It was a pretty good performance from the St. Petersburg Lions. Like you say, Anil Singh, fantastic behind the stumps. Stayed up to the stumps, pretty much every bowler he had, and he was very, very impressive. Really added another dimension to their fielding side of the game.
And of course, once upon a time, you were standing up to the stumps for the green and gold. So, you know, for viewers who may not be familiar, so just tell us about what impressed you the most about him technically.
Well, obviously I appreciate good glove work, and facts are that he stays nice and low, which is a major #1 priority as a wicketkeeper when you're up at the stumps, and he's got nice soft hands as we look at the French side's lineup. But yeah, he's very impressive. Whips the bails off as quick as a flash, and like I say, when you have a good wicketkeeper, he controls the fielding side of things. It takes your fielding team to another level.
Watch out for Wahid Abdul with the ball in particular. He's impressed us throughout this competition. His very first over in the entire competition against VOC conceded just a single, and I'm not sure even throughout this entire comp I've seen many overs that were better in terms of 6 really good deliveries. He knocked 3 poles over for them to get them into the 5th place playoff, and now they've got to defend 82.
Yeah, they're going to have to start well. St. Petersburg, on the other side of the coin, will be wanting to make use of the first 3 overs of the power play as we welcome the French team back out onto the ground. But yeah, they'll be hoping to put in a good performance. Their final match here at the European Cricket League. Take something away from what they've done. Finishing 5th would be a pretty good achievement for themselves. They're all pretty happy with how the tournament's gone. Excited to play against some very good players, and good camaraderie-ship I've noticed between all the teams.
Of course, Dreux already have a victory. They won their final pool match. But St. Petersburg Lions, despite finishing 3rd in their pool, actually lost all 3 of their games. But the Chandra Bresh points deduction pushed them up to 3rd in the table. So the Russians in particular haven't won a game, and it would mean a huge amount for them to do so. Cluj not managing to win a game in their 4 matches here, but they actually said on their player profile pre-tournament, sometimes we don't win the matches, but we win the hearts. And goodness gracious me, haven't they lived up to that promise? No wins from 4 games, but Pavel Florin has single-handedly made himself the face and the embodiment of what the European Cricket League is about.
Mate, he's everywhere. Can't get enough of him on social media. I've seen him over the back. He's now endorsing products and all sorts of things. What a beaut of a bloke, of course. A bodyguard by trade. He'll be snapped up, I'm sure, looking after some big honchos.
Well, I saw that you put a tweet out with him trying to get him involved as the head of the Dutch security. You could do a lot worse than to have him on board. 2 slips in play.
Here we go.
I haven't seen this all tournament. 2 slips. We've got at the non-strikers end Gaurav Bhatti, but facing up with these 2 slips, Anil Singh, the wicketkeeper, who's had such a good day, behind the stumps. He's now in front of them, and they'll hope to match it. It is a 6-3 offside field, very aggressive. Think Brendan McCullum, Trent Boult, that Black Caps era where they revolutionised one-day cricket, a blueprint that Owen Morgan's England side took from, often starting with 2 slips, an aggressive ring field, trying to put the pressure on. And we've got the number 5, Yassin Afridi, to open the bowling.
Well, we've seen in any form of the game really, but particularly in the shorter format, wickets stop the run rate and put pressure right back on the batting side by taking a couple of early wickets, especially in this power play.
Yassin to get us going against Anil. Decent enough start. No hope of running a leg by with 5 or 6 of the French fielders converging on it.
Very distinctive, bright uniforms. As you can see them all scurrying in from all parts of the inner circle. Could be a run out.
Confusion. Should be a run out of the bowler's end. He's a run out of the bowler's end. That is simply magnificent. 2 stumps out of the ground. And it is the man at the non-strikers, Gaurav Bhatti, who has to walk off, run out without facing a ball. Absolutely fuming. And it's the French champions who are loving life as they strike early.
What a piece of fielding. The running was terrible. It was a confusion. It was the old yes, no, wait, sorry. But he still has to hit the stumps. Picks the ball up, has a look. 3 stumps to aim for. Boom.
Mohammad Shazeb with the fine work, the man with number 2 on his back. And there goes Gaurav Bhatti. What a depressing scorecard if you're a batsman. And speaking as a very poor opening club batsman who's thankfully, touch wood, never suffered that fate. I can only say that for those who have, I imagine it's no fun at all.
No.
Naught off naught, run out without facing.
Not fun at all. Happened to me a couple of times, to be honest.
Any particular stories of who the...
Yeah,
who the,
Justin Langer ran me out twice. Sold me down the river.
Yassine. Swing and a miss. What was the fixture? What was the context?
Well, it was a one-day match, WA versus South Australia. Justin, a little bit of a nervous starter, hit one straight to pretty much to gully and took off. And Greg Blewett, who's probably one of the great fielders in Australia, became the fielding coach for Australia, literally laughed as he picked it up and hit the stumps.
Yassine. Good once more from the opening bowler. He's got the attacking field that opening bowlers so often want, and he's bowling to it nicely. So that was number 1.
Yeah, what I loved about it, though, then somehow Justin looked at me and it was my fault for not backing up. It's like, mate, are you serious? I didn't even cross. In fact, you should have been run out.
So were you the striker and he called from the non-strikers?
Yeah, so I was the non-striker, but he was just running and he called yes straight away.
And Singh goes straight up. This could be the 2nd wicket in the 1st over. Oh, goodness gracious me. What has happened there? Half of France was surrounding that ball and nobody could take the catch. Nobody took control. Nobody called. And as a result, nobody caught it.
Well, I tell you what's happened there. This is a very, very strong breeze going across the ground, and that was straight into the teeth of it. The fielder at mid-wicket thought it was going to be an easy catch, but it just kept swirling and keep going away from him.
Yassine once more. And he throws and shies. He's a bit angry, fielded by first slip, and you can't blame him, having just seen what's happened. He works so hard, he forces the error, and look at what happens next. There is a swirling wind, but you'd at least expect somebody to be under it.
Well, theoretically, it's not a drop catch because no one got a hand on it. It's not a drop catch. No one got a hand on it.
This is true. This is true on the technicality.
Technicality.
So coming back to cricketing errors. So you were at the strikers and he was, and then the second time.
Second time was a Sheffield Shield match, and he was opening. We were opening together in a Sheffield Shield match, and again hit one straight to I think it was backward point, and again stumps got thrown down, and it was all she wrote.
Just to confirm once more, there was a bit of confusion caused by Jandra Brescia having points deducted. But next up we have VOC Rotterdam versus Catalonia in semi-final 1, and then semi-final 2, Svanholm versus SG Findorf. Just that points deduction providing slight havoc and making sure we got the combinations right, but that is what it will be. New over from the Las Lomas end. Guided away through cover, didn't hit it too hard, but you don't have to with 50-metre boundaries. Balled in.
Well,
Sondra Harduk with the fielding.
It's a better shot from Singh. He's actually playing the ball on the offside. He's become very leg side orientated. You still need to play the ball on its merits, and whichever the ball's on the offside, you should be playing the ball through the offside, not always being too predictable.
Trying to use the angle here, slide it across him, but he's worked that leg side very nicely, Anil Singh. Just the casual whip and the timing to go with it.
Well, absolutely. He's really looking only in one direction. This is where, as a captain, I think third man definitely needs to come up. He's not required. And maybe drop a deep square out and probably even a mid-wicket as well. When you have a look at it, it's really only aiming in one direction.
Anil Singh looking to open up that leg side, and deep mid-wicket has gone out. Also got a short third man in the power play. Anil looks straighter this time. Struggling to get there, the throw isn't the best. It's an accidental collision between Freddie Yashak and keeper Anil Singh. All good though.
To add to that, very tough with this strong breeze and a left armour with his action, only having 3 on the leg side. It's pretty tough work as we see a little bit of a argy-bargy. Fair bump, play on.
Wahid Abdul with the fielding, and the keeper Anil Singh is just rearranging his shoelaces.
Change of the field now. Third man is coming up. Long on goes back.
Rinku Singh facing, Rinku Singh blasting it. Straight 6. That is quite the way to announce yourself second ball.
It's a good cricket shot down the ground. Not trying to look too much on their leg side, but just hitting that with a nice straight back. Straight back at the side screen.
Rinku Singh making his mark. Let's off strike this time. So we're building up today to the 2 semi-finals and then the final. Brian, looking at those semi-finals based on what you've seen, BOC Rotterdam versus Catalonia, and then Svanholm facing SG Finland. What's your prediction?
Oh, I think the 2 teams you named first, I think that game last night really showed that they're the 2 standout teams.
Shaq looking to slide it across once more, but he's got a little bit of whip on it, and goodness me, Anil Singh has capitalised. Came out and blasted a few 6s yesterday in their final pool match when the game was all but gone, but in a situation where he's still got a chance to win the game for his team, he is doing his best to do just that.
Yeah, the bowler trying to stay away from the leg side, trying to slide it across him. But Singh was good enough to get some bat on it after third man was brought up into the circle. It's a good start after the early loss of a wicket.
Well, they're above the required run rate. They need 8.3 runs per over from their 10 overs to win the game, and they've started significantly above that. The current run rate 9.5. Yasin Afridi to continue from our end, the Las Acacias end. Bowling to Rinku. 6-3 field. Inside out, over cover. Beautiful shot. Hasn't got all of it, but he'll get 4, and that is good calculated cricket. He knew where the fielders were, and it was a gamble that was worth taking, and it paid off.
Yeah, again, hitting a little bit of width there to free his arms. Hitting over the infield. The shorter side of the ground, if that's possible.
Let's see. Straight up, this will take some catching. We've already had one where nobody called. Oh, goodness, wow. Dreux are having a nightmare in the field. This time, at least somebody got some hands on it, but nobody made it clear who was going to catch it. It swirled a couple of yards from right to left in the wind, and it's put down by Yasin.
Yeah, again, this wind is causing havoc. At least it's the bowler. He can only blame himself. Right there, I almost said about 2 seconds previous to the ball touching his hands that he was no chance. You could see it swirling, and the position that he was getting himself into was all wrong.
Rab Nawaz was following in behind. Seen again, slower ball, picked up and hoiked over cow for 6. The Singhs are doing it for St. Petersburg at the moment. It's Anil this time.
Well, it's a good shot, but what I can talk about here, we talk a lot about slow balls in the shorter format of the game. But the whole thing about a slow ball, it can't be too slow. It can't. It's only basically just trying to interrupt your swing. But if it's too slow and then the batsman can then reevaluate and swing twice, you're always going to cop it. So it's just a subtlety of the pace. It doesn't have to be too slow, because then, therefore, if it is too slow, batsmen can pick it, see it, hold their swing and go for it. Whereas if it's just subtle, it just interrupts your natural swing. That's where you find balls going straight up, or maybe just holding out to a man on the boundary.
And Singh facing. Looking in good touch. And he's shot that away. It's a sort of it's a bit like kung fu, that. It wasn't a conventional Robin Smith style cut shot, but he's found a way to get it into the gap. And Anil Singh is having a great game behind the stumps and a great game in front of him.
Well, have a look here. He's almost got it right, the bowler. That's almost a Yorker. But he's jammed down on it and hit it at pace through point. That's a fantastic cricket shot.
Very deliberately done as well. Not a fluke by any stretch. Enjoying the power plays in Petersburg. LBW appeal. Possibly going down leg, but there seemed to be barely an appeal there.
I'm telling you, I am straight behind the stumps. My position up here is absolutely perfect, and I'm giving that out.
It was odd. No one really went up for it.
Well, I think people moving around because they didn't quite realise. But if hopefully we're going to have a quick look at a replay. Well, maybe I'm just a bad umpire, but let's have a look. It's full. He's going across. Sorry, sir. That is thank you and good night.
It was the in-swinger, but it looks like it was hitting in and around leg, but it is an old school thing. I was actually speaking to the ECL CEO, Roger Finer, about this. He's Swiss-German and he's enjoying learning cricket through the ECL, teaching him what how's that means. And I also explained that if the team doesn't appeal, it can't be given out.
It can't be given out, no.
It's as simple as that, and that's why how's that is one of the first things I taught him in learning about cricket, because I thought you've got to know how to get wickets. Wahid Abdul on. Good start as well. You'd expect nothing less. Dreux' go-to bowler throughout this tournament, Wahid Abdul, and they need him to turn it around here, because a couple more overs of this partnership from the two Singhs, Rinku and Anand, not related, would mean game over almost so.
Yeah, he's been a fantastic bowler this whole tournament. Runs in hard, bashes at length, tries to extract anything out of the wicket that he can.
Abdul to Rinku. Good from him again. Reminds me of, and this is just the first two that came to mind, kind of Tim Brezhnev and Liam Plunkett type. Short, tall, strong, muscular, bangs it in short of the pitch. He's got the old good slow ball as well. Good
seam presentation, as you can see there, the seam just angling to where first slip would be, which means he's trying to bowl a little outswing to the right-hander.
Target of 83 to win. Can Abdul do? Oh, he's beaten him again. This is really nice stuff. Really proper fast bowling.
Yeah, it's good corridor bowling. It's really good length. If you have a look at this, it's a good action. Strong man. If you have a look there at point of release, good wrist, cock of the wrist. Not very repeatable action.
Wahid Abdul still yet to concede a run in this spell. Well, I thought for a second there that Rinku Singh was charging him. And I was thinking, what on earth is he doing? He stepped 3 yards down. Got some tweets. Neil Virani says, huge fan of the video of the switch hit on a broken leg. A guy loving the sport is something everyone should get behind. I think we can all agree with that.
The Pav. Is he on Twitter yet, the Pav?
Don't actually believe he has his own account. It's the Cluj account. This time Abdul does well again. Rinku finds a single.
Got to get him on.
Absolutely.
He'll be an instant success. He'll probably have 1 million followers within. He'll be an influencer, Michael, like yourself.
Don't. We've already established firmly that I'm not an influencer. I'm a man who talks nonsense and is fortunate to have the opportunity to do so on a brilliant stage. It's not about us. We're the facilitators of what is going on out in the middle. St. Petersburg looking to finish 5th. And they've got a step closer to that here. Another boundary for Anil Singh. He's having a really good day of it. Crashed a few sixes at the back end of the final pool game, but now in a meaningful competitive scenario, he is displaying his excellence. Just a cheeky little dab on the offside.
Yeah, not trying to over-hit the ball. If he was guilty of anything early on, just trying to hit the ball way too hard and only in one direction. Now he's starting to play the ball on its merits, which is a much better way.
Bit of a dent to the figures. Wahid Abdul, and is he caught behind? No, dropped. That is a valuable life, almost a run out at the keeper's end, and almost absolute carnage up here because a gale started blowing pretty much just as that ball and the chaos of it happened. So chaos up in the box and out on the ground, but it was a drop from Zahir Omar after an outside edge by Anil Singh. Then they ran, and there was nearly a run out too.
Well, I think the pace did him there. The wicket just hit the hands hard, and a high position, just wasn't in any sort of position to take the catch. And it is carnage up here. The wind has literally picked up as we speak. I'm sure you can hear it in the effects mics. There's chairs going everywhere. Oh, the joys.
Have had a tweet relating to Corey Rutgers. Michael Bunting, you and Cambo seem very close. Ryan Campbell, is he like a father figure to you on your cricketing journey, which I think might be slightly sarcastic? Do get in touch on social media. It is great to have your company. Tell us where you're watching in the world. Tell us what jersey you think looks the best of the 8 kits. At Cambo_19, and I'm on at This Is McCann. This is McCann, MCCANN. For now, we've got Mohamed Bhatti bowling his left arm spin from our end of the ground, a key part of that team that won the French Championship last year with bat and ball. 15 wickets at a very handy average of 20. Bhatti starts well. Strike rate of 17 as well, which for those unfamiliar with the statistical side of the game, essentially, to keep it simple, means that on average, he takes a wicket every 17 balls. Bhatti's got 3 sweepers out on the leg side. The predictable field just gets it outside the tram lines. 2 sweepers out on the off. We're outside of the power play now. Mohamed Adnan signalling the wide.
Perfect forward defence.
MCC textbook, although in a T10 game, the forward defence probably isn't your go-to.
Doesn't quite spring to mind, does it?
Again, goes leg side this time, gets it wrong though, it will take a bit of catching. It is caught very well. Made that look so simple coming in off the boundary. The celebration to match 2. And Dreux strike. It's the man with #1 on his back with a fine piece of fielding.
Well, we've seen a number of catches go down due to this strong wind. And again, the fielder there, he was always against it because that was always falling short due to the breeze. He moved well, extended hands, great catch.
Alexandra Harduk, he had a lot of pressure on his shoulders, had to come in and replace their go-to gun batsman, Mohamed Nisar, who scored 81 runs in the Super League final to get them into the ECL, but due to work commitments can't be here. Harduk, eager to make his contribution, did so there in the field, and it is the third aspect of cricket, but one that does occasionally get forgotten with the core skills of the game of batting and bowling. The fielding across the game, the difference between 2 teams can be 20 or 30 runs that ultimately cost you.
Well, I think when we watched Svanholm and VOC, I think standard of fielding in that just showed why they are the 2 best teams here. It's an element of the game that's a non-negotiable in my book.
Vijay Gautam gets hold of this, it's into the gap. Slight misfield, but recovered well enough, and to keep them to 1 there was a good bit of work out on that boundary. Rabnawaz with it, running around from square leg. The man who just took that catch, Harduk, was there in attendance as well. It's about fielding in pairs out on the fence sometimes.
It is indeed.
Oh, Gautam gets himself going. And They are still above where they need to be here, the St. Petersburg Lions, but the loss of that excellent Singh partnership has just thrown a little bit of uncertainty into it.
Well, I would have thought the French team would be thinking, you just snare another wicket, especially the incoming, the batsman who's been in for a while in Singh, who's 28 off 17. If you could just knock him over, they might have a little opening. And the pressure to score will always keep mounting. Every dot ball crucial.
We've got another tweet, and predictably, it's about Pavel Florin. Henry Lee saying this may not have the cachet of the Ashes, but this Romanian guy, bodyguard, he loves cricket, played in this ECL19 seventh playoff game whilst recovering from a broken leg. I'm a fan, or aren't we all? Wahid Abdul gets his first one right. Slightly messy in the field. They say don't run off a misfield, and if they did, Afridi Shank surely would have completed a run out there.
Yeah, we found that out for, I think, Max O'Dowd yesterday in the match against Varnholm. Tried to scamper back for a second on a misfield and was found short of his ground.
Galter. Oh, lovely touch shot. Really nice. Just knew the gap. He knew that third man was very fine, and he knew there was backward point. And just like a knife through butter, he sliced it through.
Yeah, it's a good shot.
Anil Singh going really nicely here.
Well, this is what I mean. It's a big over because it's the French team's best bowler, and they've kept him on for two, wanting this wicket. And if he can knock over Singh, that opens up an end.
Well, Gautam, of course, has just walked to the wicket. Goes straight this time, Anil Singh. Won't be caught, but not his finest shot. He's on 34 off 20, though. He's having a very good time of it. And what's interesting to note with Anil Singh, we've talked about not over-hitting the ball. He's almost been the opposite. He's hit 5 4s and 1 6. And most batsmen who played a long innings in this tournament, it's often been the other way round.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's almost the ones that he hasn't tried to overhit as the ones he's timed the best, and they've been along the on the carpet, so to speak.
26 of his 34 runs coming in boundaries, more than half of his runs coming in 4s. If you time it and you get it in a gap, it's always going to go well for you, of course, but on a ground with 50-metre boundaries in particular, you're not going to get anything but value for money and value for shots. Abdul. Baseball style back down the ground, but Abdul fields well enough off his own bowling.
Well, as everyone can see, if we look down the ground, we have actually moved across to a new strip. The boundaries haven't changed, so suddenly we do have one side of the ground a little bit bigger, plus into the wind, and the shorter side of the ground will be hitting with the wind, so there's going to be some tactics used there.
Straight down the ground again. I mean, of course, it is still near enough exactly 50-metre boundaries all the way around. We're only talking about a couple of metre difference. The bigger factor does seem to be that wind, because I'm sure you're picking it up on our effects mics. It is blowing from, as the bowling comes from where it will the next over of the ground, the last Cassius end of the ground, our end of the ground, it will blow from right to left as the bowler looks at it, left to right as the batsman looks at it. So if you as a right-hander, which Anil Singh is, hit into the wind, that will be the leg side shot. So really, ideally, you want to be opening up the offside to go with that breeze.
Which is actually not their natural game. They always want to go to the leg side. So that, like I say, the tactics will be coming into play if this breeze continues. I've no doubt the teams in the semi-finals will be looking at ways and means to use it to their advantage.
Batty in. Through cover, and Anil Singh's had an odd sort of an arc in that he's got one arc which is to go through mid-wicket, and then his other arc is backward point round to about point. Curious mix. Batty from our end, he's changed game to second over. And he's got him. Well, because of the batsman obscuring him, it was briefly a moment of confusion, but that is the big one. That's the one that the St. Petersburg Lions didn't want to lose, and the wicket Dreux desperately wanted. It's their captain who stepped up to get it. Anil Singh has to walk off after an enterprising and entertaining knock. 34 off 22 balls with 5 fours and a 6. Big contribution for his team, but he needs someone else to carry it home.
Yeah, again, aiming to the leg side there, trying to swing himself off his feet, really. It's good bowling. Hard into the wicket from the left arm offie. And that's a big wicket now. St. Petersburg, the pressure starts to mount. The run rate is climbing all the time.
Aman Saxena walks out. We've got a tweet from Bazza Miller. He says, I'm watching the ECL19 today from the comfort of my home office in Corn, Wiltshire. Really great to see club cricket like this from all. Couldn't agree more. And now it's 2 in 2. Mohamed Bhatti flying and giving Dreux a chance of an unexpected victory here, because St. Petersburg Lions were in control of this run chase, and now they're in all sorts of trouble. Golden quacker for Saxena.
Yeah, good piece of work from the wiki again. Good hands, healthy edge.
Wicket kick.
And let me just say, we have seen this a number of times through this tournament. 2 in 2 balls. We haven't seen a hat-trick yet. Could this be the day?
Zahir Amar with his smart work. Anything you can do, I can do better. Anil Singh very good up to the stumps. Zahir Amar exactly the same. This could well, the required run rate in and around the 10 and over region, go the distance. We haven't seen many games that got to the final over with it still live as such.
Hat-trick ball. Come on, let's see it.
Tendulkar survives. Taluk Dar, channeling the memory of the great Sachin Tendulkar, who, as I've been reminded once by him, and I'm told that his teammates bang on about it. Peter Saylor got out once upon a time, as he got Kevin Peterson as well. Not the worst 2 batsmen to get. Team to Taluk Dar.
Yeah, get a feeling my money will now be moved across to Dreux, because I think they're on top here now.
Taluk Dar has to be the hero for his team. And the required run rate there, before that dot ball, 10.42. But more importantly, look at those figures on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. 3 wickets and 4 runs for Mohamed Bhatti, and also a maiden. Wow. In T10 cricket. Just drink that in, folks. A maiden in T10 cricket.
Ridiculously good over. An absolutely ridiculous good over.
And you can see how he sticks out. 2 overs, 1 maiden, 4 for 3. So for those new to the game, a maiden is an over of 6 legitimate deliveries from which the bowler does not concede any runs. As simple as that. So Ahmed Bhatti, across his 2 overs of 6 balls each, has bowled 12 balls, only conceded 4 runs and picked up 3 wickets. And I must say, I almost missed that was a maiden because of the 2 wickets, but at the end, it dawned on me, yeah, the score hasn't changed. It's a maiden in a T10 game. You almost can't believe you're saying it. Naib Kamran is going to bowl from the last Lomas end. Do get in touch with us on social media at the back end of this run chase, what you've made of the comp, where you're watching, or enjoying it. Gautam facing 2 new batsmen in. Good enough shot to start with, but at some point in these next 3 overs, St. Petersburg have got to go big. They had that brilliant partnership between Anil Singh and Rinku Singh, but as soon as that was disrupted, it's all gone a bit wrong. You can have a look at the 2 wickets in that previous over from Mohamed Bhatti. Number 1, Anil Singh. Bowl trying to slog sweep, then caught behind, a neat catch. And behind the stumps, we'll see some really good wicket keeping in this game. Taluk Dar.
Trouble.
Run out to the bowler's end, and he's not going to miss from there, Naib Kamran. He was only 5 yards or so away. And after a promising start, the St. Petersburg Lions are capitulating in this run chase. Brilliant stuff from the French champions.
Yeah, it was a good piece of fielding from the bowler. Just getting through his run, in his run through. It was never really a run on. All he had to do, he had 3 stumps to hit, and he did what he needed to do, and another wicket goes down.
Not the way Harishraj Talukdar will have wanted to finish his ECL, 0 or 4, and this was how it ended. Run out, and I mean, to say he wasn't even in the same frame is inaccurate. He wasn't even in the same postcode, he wasn't even in the same country. It was just, and that's the kind of thing that a run chase and the pressure does to you, doesn't it? It makes you do funny things. Cameron continuing. Lalit facing at the non-striker's end, having just come in because of them crossing. Now he will face his first ball, and they need a hero. The required run rate now above 2 a ball, so singles are not enough. Cameron, swing and miss. Strike 1 on the village green, they might say. That was like something you would expect to see at the ball game. Those baseball lovers watching us in the US.
Yeah, it's a good swing. Unfortunately, I don't think he's actually looking at the ball at any point.
No runs for batter speed, as they say. Now they're trying to make contact this time. Side out for 1. Look at that current run rate, it is 6.78, and the required run rate is spiralling up. It's already above 2 a ball, and it's only getting higher.
This goes to show in this form of the game, just 1 over either way. A very good over by the bowler can really drag you back into the contest, or if it's a really good over from the batsman, can just get things out of control very quickly.
It's again a single. It's not what they need though. One of these two has got to find a way to smoke it around. The required run rate spiralling up. Now up towards 2.5 runs a ball.
So we need 29 off 2 overs. Plenty of work to do for the batsman.
Top work from Naib Kamran. He conceded just 4 from that over. Also got the run out of Harishraj Talukdar. Anil Singh, excellent, as was Rinku Singh, but that partnership was so valuable. Got broken up by Mohamed Bhatti, who stepped up with bat and ball for Dreux throughout this tournament. Now it is up to the bottom order to get St. Petersburg home and get them what would be their first win of the tournament. Remember that they lost all 3 of their pool games, but they ended up in the 5th place playoff because of JJ Brescia being relegated down to 4th. So they're still looking to make sure they don't join Cluj as the only sides throughout this competition to not win a game. Rabnawaz to bowl. Strong look with the white headband. Straight hit. That's as good a shot as we've seen across the 3 days. It was nearly stopped actually by Ahmed Nabi, and that stop, if he would have made it, would have been almost as good as his century. But you can't blame him for not getting there. Naib Kamran goes and fetches the ball, and that's just what St. Petersburg needed.
Yeah, that's a really good cricket shot. Full face, presented the full face of the bat. Hit it nice and hard down the ground.
Jay Galton stepping up for his team. Can he go back-to-back boundaries? Today gets off strike. But that's just what they needed, a boundary at the start of the over, keeps them in the hunt.
Yeah, well, I was listening to Corey Rutgers. I hate listening to Corey Rutgers, but I was actually listening to Corey Rutgers when he was on air, and he was talking about the ramped sort of shots at the back end of an innings when the bowler is trying to bowl very full, and I get the feeling that's the bowler's aim right now.
Pass to Lalit, who clips this casually away, and it's almost brilliantly stopped by Ahmed Nabi. It ended up being like the goalkeeper in football, palmed it over the bar. He had a teammate there for the combination, Mohamed Shazeb, couldn't quite work it out. One thinks of a few years ago in the T20 Blast in England, Adam Live and Aaron Finch did a couple of them. Very special. There's been plenty of tag teams ever since. Part of the game now.
A massive part of the game now. Our lads practicing this all the time. knowing where the rope is, how to keep it in the play. The second fielder making sure he's there to help.
Rope management, as you might call it. Lalit inside out this time and goes away for a one bounce sport. This is just the over the St. Petersburg Lions needed. Just as this chase was starting to elude them, they've come up with the goods.
Well, he's trying to bowl nice and full, but this one is just a little bit of width that he made full use of into this strong breeze that he's now just starting to blow down the ground. It's changing its direction. It's a big over so far.
14 from 8.
In the air.
Some catching under this wind. Well taken. Who else would it be for them? Their key man. The man who always seems to step up just as they need him. Wahid Abdul, with pretty much a gale seeming to be blowing here at the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Oval. Takes it cleanly enough. The Afridi celebration to match. And St. Petersburg's momentum is halted. Lalit gone.
Well, that's a big wicket in this game. Not just the wicket, it's actually it's a dot ball, which is even more important, really. Tried again to go down the ground, only skewed it straight up. Breeze a factor. Took it no problem. Loves a celebration, huh?
Certainly does. And you can not blame him one bit for being delighted. Wahid Abdul, go-to man with the ball, and after some horror shows in the field today for Dreux, takes it. But that's gone.
That's going to take some catching too.
Swirling in this wind, and on the second chance, Mohammad Shazeb does take it. The fist pump celebration, and this game twists and turns once more. 2 good catches in 2 balls. Shows just how important fielding is in the game of cricket, if you didn't already know it. Now with just 7 balls left, the momentum swings again.
Well, he had gone for 14 off the first 4 balls, and it could have been very easy to lose his head, but he stuck to his guns, kept bowling it nice and full, and he got the first wicket at short third man. And this one, again, into the breeze. The fielder had to make sure he was watching the ball at all times. The swirling breeze.
DJ Galton.
Oh, it's not quite in the midst, but it's good enough. It's out.
Shazeb somehow holding on to it, and it's now Ratinder Singh who earlier dropped a howler of a catch that swirled in the wind, but then took the second one out on the long off boundary and had the biggest smile I think I've seen from anyone at this entire tournament.
I think they nicknamed him Maradona.
Absolutely loves the game, and now
14.
He's on strike, trying to rescue it for his team. Credit as well must go to Rav Nawaz. He didn't even play a game last year when they won the French T20 comp. He was under pressure there, as you alluded to, Ryan, and he finished that over brilliantly to pull it back. So here we are, 14 to win from the last over. Who do you fancy?
I'm going to go the fielding team. I just think this young man, Kamran, bowls quite well. I think he's got enough up his sleeve.
It's Ratinder Singh on strike. And is that first one given a wide? Eyes on the umpire, Lars Anderson. Ratinder looking up at him. The arms aren't being extended.
Well, it's one of those line balls. I think the umpire was right. If you have a look, yes, inside the line, the tram line's there.
Brilliant execution of skills. Last Lomas end of the ground. 5 balls left. Who's going to take 5th place at the first ECL? Naib Cameron to bowl. And missed once more. That is just a horror show. It's the first rule, just get some bat on ball. Ratinder Singh, I know it's not easy, you've just come out to bat, but swing and a miss twice. Akashdeep Singh at the other end, who's yet to face, is looking down at him accusingly to say, look, let's at least give ourselves a chance.
Bat on ball.
Brad Hindersing facing, can he get bat on ball this time? He does. It's a decent clean hit, but they might only get one. They do only get one. It's Hindersing jogging down the other end, almost as if he's admitted defeat in his personal quest to win this game for his team. He wasn't even interested in two. He said to Akashdeep, look, there you go, 13 or 3, it's going to have to be you.
Well, maybe he knows something that we don't.
Sweepers out, 3 on the offside, 2 on the leg side. 5-4 offside field. Swing and a miss. This is just excellent death bowling. Can't give enough credit to Naib Cameron. And at the other end, Rab Nawaz as well. These are 2 kids, both 20 years old, who weren't part of the side that won the French T20 Championships last year. New additions to the club. And they are contributing with the world watching here at the ECL in a crucial stage of this game. Can Akashdeep pull something out the bag? No, he can't. And so long as this final delivery is a legitimate one, then the Dreux, the French champions, easy for me to say, have got themselves a valuable win. 2 6s and we would have had a super over. Saw Corey Rutgers be with us earlier talking about tactics and the fact they'd actually have 2 fielders by the stumps at the back end of a super over if it was tight for whipping the bails off. But it seems like we won't need that to determine this game unless there's some crazy extras, maybe 5 wides or something like that to make it interesting. It's a good delivery and Cameron finishes it off. Well, that is excellent work from Naib Cameron, defending 14 off the last over. He actually did it comfortably. And as you can see there, as before our graphics removed, required run rate infinity, and indeed to infinity and beyond is where the St. Petersburg Lions would have had to go to win it by the end. A really good game of cricket, a low-scoring game of cricket, and one where eventually French champions fought back and won.
Well, they had their chances, the St. Petersburg Lions. They bowled and fielded pretty well. They had a target that they would have thought at 83 they were in the match, and they started well. They had some partnerships up early, but then once the wickets started to tumble, they just couldn't keep up with the rate. And all of a sudden they had 14 off the second last over with 2 balls remaining, and you're thinking, well, this could be the turnaround. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Wickets tumbled, and some good finishing skills from the young Dreux fast bowlers did the job.
It was Rab Nawaz with the white headband and then Naib Cameron. They've so often leaned on Wahid Abdul with the ball, the experienced tall paceman. But he actually wasn't the star of the show. It was the young boys at the death who delivered with the world watching. And it means that the St. Petersburg Lions are still yet to get a win at this year's ECL. They've contributed, they've played some good cricket in parts, but after 3 losses in the pool stage, they only got into the 5th place playoff because of Brescia's points deduction and not able to get the victory. Dreux finished with 2 wins from 4 and some happy memories, in particular the Ahmed Nabi century, which history will be remembering.
Yeah, that was a beauty of an innings. And again, we now know, they know, if they want to compete at this club championship, the European Club Championship, they know that they're going to have to lift their standards in all facets of the game. And I guess the line in the sand has been set by all these clubs of where they need to be. They're going to be competitive. They're going to have 12 months. Firstly, of course, they have to win their own competitions
to get back,
to get the invitation back. And then we'll have to see what happens. But pretty good cricket all round. The matches this morning have been tight, both going into the final over. And now we have 2 big semi-finals to come.
And what you hope on the note of developing cricket is that that also incentivises other clubs in Russia to start playing, because there's the reward of this at the end of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dreux have, of course, taken victory today to finish 5th in the brand new ECL. Their captain, Mohamed Bhatti, has been crucial for them with bat and ball throughout this tournament. He turned the game today with astonishing figures. 1 maiden, picking up 3 wickets and conceding just 4 runs. We can hear from the man himself now.
with a double wicket maiden. I have the man of the match, Mohammad Bhatti. Thank you very much for joining us. What a performance.
Yes, today my batting is not good, but my bowling is good.
What was going on in your mind when you came out to bowl?
Yes, I come in bowling, but very difficult situation. But I best in my ball, but God help me.
Yeah, and defending a total of 82 was never going to be very easy.
Yes, but today weather is so much difficult, but batting is so much. This weather is batting so much difficult situation. But I bowling my bowler and me, I bowl is very well, and I win this game.
Well, that's for sure. But also at one point when St. Petersburg was batting, especially Singh when he was batting, that was such a crucial wicket.
Yes. St. Petersburg is batting start is very well, but after not defend the target, and I win this match.
But in the beginning, there were lots of misfielding as well. Do you think that was also because of the strong breeze?
Yes, I 3 catch my team is raw, but after I bowl very well and other bowler is very good, but I win this game.
Well, thank you very much. It was splendid to watch you. Thank you very much. It's over to you.
Mohammad Bhatti, crucial today with arguably the figures of the tournament, particularly for the fact that it wasn't just a maiden, of course a double wicket maiden that turned this game after a crucial partnership. Let's have a look back at the highlights. Chasing 83 to win. There was a brilliant partnership from Anil Singh and at the other end Rinku Singh, but once those two went, it all went a bit wrong for St. Petersburg.
Again, they were in with a show in the early doors. They had some good starts. The fielding into this tough conditions with the breeze here, that's not just a breeze, it's an absolute gale, was causing havoc, and you thought to yourself, they might have their first win coming up. As we see Singh, who was fantastic with the gloves, was also really good with the bat. But once we started to lose a couple of wickets, the partnership was broken, and then it was trouble time.
Anil Singh 34 off 22, 5 fours and 1 6. After his superb work with the keeping, you had to feel bad for him that he wasn't man of the match. But that's because this man was, the man who dismissed him, Mohammad Bhatti, getting him out, getting a wicket with the very next ball, 3 for 4 from his 2 overs. And after that, the brakes were firmly put on. It was the 2 youngsters, Naib Kamran with 55 on his back and Rab Nawaz here with 70 on his back, who ultimately carried them home. 14 to defend off the last over, and it was actually done with relative ease.
Yeah, no problem. Like I say, this over here, there was 14 off the first 4 balls. The youngster held his nerve. Yes, I like the celebration. And took 2 wickets with his last 2 balls, which really ended the match from St. Petersburg's point of view.
And the fielding improved dramatically because there was 2 comedy cricket catches, one where no one even got a hand on it and 4 men converged, one where the bowler dropped it, albeit in very difficult conditions. But after that, the catching for the French champions dramatically rose in standards. And so that's what we ended up with. Dreux posting 82 for 7, St. Petersburg responding with 70 for 7. Dreux the winners by 12 runs. So they edge out the Russians to take 5th place.
Yeah, some good cricket from both sides, but again, it's Dreux who will take the win and 5th spot.
I've been Michael McCann. Ryan Campbell has been alongside me. We'll be staying with you for a double header back-to-back, because next up it is the VOC Rotterdam boys from Holland, from the Netherlands. Of course, Ryan Campbell, the current Netherlands head coach, so pretty handy to have up here with us. They'll be up against Catalonia Cricket Club. We'll see you shortly.